But no one wants to fuck Captain America. Everyone wants to fuck Beast.
I think you may have given us a little insight into your little psyche there, Sam.
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
Oh, we're here, Jamie. Hi, how are you? Welcome to Final Transmission. It's me, Sam Russo. It's you, Jamie Carruthers. It's once a week until the end of time. One horror movie per calendar week. Coming at you live on all streaming platforms, in the flesh, in person. The one and only Jamie Carruthers. How's your week going? How are you?
I'm having a wonderful week. It's
You look very relaxed.
So I've the last 2 times that we've tried to record, my Wi-Fi has been so shitty that I have set myself up in the living room, close to the router, in the hopes that I don't have to fucking deal with that in the edit again.
Good use of router. Better than, I don't know, router, for example?
I would normally say router, but, for the podcast, why not mix it up?
What would you say, root me daddy or route me daddy?
I would say, Daddy, root your chorizo straight into my tahine.
Would you have a rootin' good time, rootin' tootin' good time, or a routing touting good time?
Yeah. I don't think I'd have a routing touting good time. That sounds painful.
Route me, daddy. I like it. I think we should bring that back if it ever was a thing. If it wasn't, then we just created it. Welcome to Final Transmission, where we will route you, daddy. Jamie, this week we're talking about a movie that you selected specifically because it's Halloweeny, correct?
Yeah, correct. So throughout the month of October, we're going to be celebrating, or at least covering, films that are set on or around Halloween.
Celebrating is a stretch, right? No, neither of us are celebrating shit.
Who knows what we're going to say about the guests, Sam? There might be a lot to celebrate here. There might not be.
I know what I'm going to fucking say, I'll tell you that much.
I have no idea what you think yet, so I'm really keen to understand your thoughts. All I know is that you wrote a lovely little song, and if you want to hear that song, you're going to have to go to @FT Horror Show.
Oh no.
On the social medias, and you will hear it loud, proud, and ready to groud.
I thought WhatsApp was our fucking chamber of secrets. How? What other shit have I sent you that you've put on the internet? I was freestyling, baby.
The only other thing that you sent me in the locked chamber of our WhatsApp that I put on the internet is that photo of you in the woods with your hood up.
Yes, and what a classic that is.
I think that was last Halloween, or was it last Friday?
Yeah,
Something like
I tend to, the month of October, I do a brave thing, something I consider to be quite brave. I wear my cowl all the time. So first of all, I own a cowl. Second of all, I wear it the whole of October, maybe even a little bit of November from time to time.
Yeah, you're wearing it right now.
Yep. Do you have a specific October garment that only sees the light of day in the sweet, sweet autumnal period that is October to November / the Halloween period?
I've got a few specifically Halloween themed clothing that I don't tend to wear the rest of the year.
Pumpkin gruds?
My supermarket long sleeve skeleton jumper.
Nice.
Don't tend to break that out for the rest of the year.
No, not even at a Phoebe Bridgers show.
I've never been to a Phoebe Bridgers show.
Isn't Phoebe Bridgers just hard to say?
Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Who concocted such a name? Ridiculous.
Yeah. I nearly went to a Boy Genius show once, but I managed to get out of it.
Full disclosure, I had a couple of beers. Sorry, everyone. Had to.
It's okay. It's Friday.
Es ist Freitag und wir gehen die Guest.
So, we're talking about The Guest. 2014, directed by Adam Wingard, written by Simon Barrett, starring...
Hold your horses.
Dan Stevens.
All right. Let's just get it. Let's just clear the air now, Jamie. How do you feel about Dan Stevens in this movie?
Dan Stevens, in this movie, but in all movies, is an absolute specimen of a man.
You haven't shut the fuck up about Dan Stevens for the last week and a half. I didn't know this guy existed until you were like, check out this smoke show, and just pummeling me with Dan Stevens shit. Nudes galore. Who is this guy? Give me the rundown. I don't know him.
So, I mean, he's a British actor. He was most well known for being in Downton Abbey, which I haven't watched. I don't know if you've watched it.
No.
I mean, maybe it's good.
I can't stand English heritage, whatever it's called. What do you call it? Heritage drama? I just cast the same people and they all suck.
So yeah, Dan Stevens was in that. I wanted to cover The Guest. Obviously, we're doing movies that are set on Halloween. The Guest isn't really a horror movie, so it's tangentially linked, but I recently watched Cuckoo, which also starred Dan Stevens. So he's in my brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to cover this and get your thoughts about it because reviews are divided. I think it's mainly praised, but there are some people out there that hate this movie, and I wanted to know if you were going to be one of them. So why don't we... Go on.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the reviews being divided is such an understatement. Some people are frothing about this movie, literally unbridled froth. And then some people, holy shit, they want to like find the people who made it and kill them. It's such a camp divider.
Yeah.
Pourquoi, monsieur?
I think there are more people on the frothing love it side.
Yeah, but the haters drag down the ratings big time. This isn't... I mean, it's got a good rating for... If we're calling it a horror movie, it has a relatively high rating for a horror movie. Do you know what I mean? It's sub 7 on IMDb, but it's still... You know, people still think highly of it in the horror context. A lot of horror movies suffer that, like, you know, oh, it's a horror, so it's 6 when it could be 8 if it was any other genre.
Yeah, like if you're not one of the massive horror movies, 7 is basically 10 on.
Yeah, 100%.
I sent you 2 reviews. One of them said something like, "This is literal diarrhea shit from an ass." And the other one was, "This is the greatest movie anyone's ever made." So
yeah, that seems to be the binary.
yeah.
How bummed are you going to be if I'm absolutely dead center? It's fine.
I mean, you've been there before, Sam. I've learned to gird my loins. I've learned to manage my own expectations.
Hide your heart.
Yeah. So let's do a synopsis because it's killing me. I need to know.
I don't even know if you like it. This isn't a fucking one pony show, bud. You're here too. You could think this is dog shit for all I know.
I could think it's dog shit because I often pick dog shit movies for us to cover, right?
No. Just Waxwork.
Yeah.
Not sure I'll ever get over Waxwork. Anyway, why don't you synopsisize the movie The Guest, 2014, starring Ryan Gosling?
That's a great idea, Sam. Thank you for that wonderful setup. So, The Guest. David has recently been, discharged from the army, apparently.
It's not like you to forget the word discharge, Jim.
And goes to visit the family of one of his soldier buddies because he didn't come back from the war or whatever. And he insinuates himself into this family by being handsome and charming. But every time he's alone, there's something a little bit off about this guy. So it's up to the daughter of the family, Anna, played by Micah Monroe from Long Legs.
Who's hot shit right now.
Yeah. She's got long legs all the way up.
Hot property. Yep.
So it's up to her to try and figure out if David is really all that he says he is, or if there's something a lot more fishy and dangerous afoot. That's the synopsis, Sammy.
Spoilers. There is.
Yeah, there is.
Yep.
But if you want to know what that is, you're going to have to come back after the break when we talk spoilers.
Get yourself a brew. Chill the fuck out. We'll be right back.
Whoa, holy shit. I guess that's why they call it Phantom Power.
Welcome back to Final Transmission. It's me, Sam Russo, the southern prick, and Jamie, the northern gent. we're here to talk today about The Guest. Are you ready to reveal some secrets? I can see your notebook.
You can see my
Does
notebook.
it say Final Transmission on it?
It does, yeah.
Nice. I thought it said Schlick mein Pimmel, but it says Final Transmission.
It says Final Transmission, book 1, because it's nearly finished.
So you had to add book 1 because you knew there'd be a book 2.
Yeah, I've already got book 2 ready to go.
We're not getting cancelled. We got a second season coming coming right up.
Yeah.
We like to start our seasons 59 episodes in, or whatever we are.
Sir, a second notebook has hit Jamie's bank account.
Nice. Superb.
Yeah.
Moleskine?
It's not Moleskine, actually. They are
Ryman.
Legame.
Nice. Made of human flesh.
Yeah, they're really nice. Big fan.
Looks good. Shout out to whatever that word Jamie just said was.
Okay, before we go any further, I think it's really important that we take a moment to pay homage to our corporate overlords at Red Scare Industries.
Red Scare Industries is a record label ostensibly based out of Chicago. They have released music by bands, and they book tours for those bands around the world. And they do their best, man. What can I say? They're fighting the good fight in a huge corporate hellscape of musical elitism. So, I mean, they try.
They do try. I think, for the most part, they succeed.
Red Scare Industries is the premier independent punk rock label globally. One of the greatest purveyors of punk rock music that you can find on the internet, in brick and mortar stores. On the ground floor of all great revolutions stands one man fighting the good fight, and that's Toby Jegg of Red Scare Industries. So let's give it up. Round of applause, people. Good clapping.
Thanks, man. So yeah, get yourself over to redscare.net. Peruse their
Wouldn't
wares.
spring for .com.
I was going to make a comment about it being .org, but it's not. So that's nonsense.
It's .net, .internet.
.internet, yeah.
Get over there and buy a Boll Weevils record. Can't fucking go wrong.
There's 100 records that you could buy, so you might as well buy 5 or 6.
Yeah, to make the shipping worth it, depending on where you are.
Exactly.
To our Tasmanian listeners. Do you know where Van Diemen's Land is, Jamie?
No?
Apparently it's what used to be Tasmania.
Van Diemen's Land. Is that why Tasmanian devils are a thing? Because demons, devils, Tasmania.
Whoa, could be. Could be. I thought it was some Dutch settler thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, do you know where we're not going to find the answers to this, Sam? In our review of The Guest. A movie from 2014 that I have some feelings about, but I want to know how you feel about it first, Sam. So give me your top level, first, out of the gate thoughts on The Guest.
You sure you want it?
I'm ready.
You look ready, to be fair. I've never seen you look more ready. The Guest. I mean, it's fucking brilliant. What a flick. Holy shit. To say that it got my dick racing would be an understatement. I loved this movie. It did magical things to me. It brought me back.
That's amazing. I think it's,
You hate it.
Yeah, I think it's absolute dog shit. No, I don't. I love it. Of course I love it. It's amazing. It's
Fucking heck. It does. It just fucking does it, and it does it right. And it hadn't even occurred to me until you said, this isn't really a horror movie. I was like, oh fuck, I guess it isn't. Who cares? It's great.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it's like, it's not a horror movie, but it's treated like it's a horror movie. It's shot like a horror movie. It feels like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like where it's so much fun to see slasher tropes play out not in a slasher movie.
Oh my god, I totally agree. I hadn't even thought of that. I think this is exactly that. It's an action movie. It's almost like an Americana fucking song. Like it's so dumb and ridiculous in all those amazing American entertainment ways that we love, but it has so much slasher beauty woven into it, you know, the shit that I love, and it has such great performances, and then all of that is wrapped up in this bow of a fucking Lance Reddick dumb shit government action movie. There is nothing not to go nuts about in this fucking thing. Like, just when you think, oh, this can't get any better, Lance Reddick shows up. The cast is fucking superb. Like, nobody fucks the pony in this movie. The performances are top tits. Leland Orser is in this, and he doesn't even scream.
I think Leland Orser is like the second tier like VP of this movie. Like,
I know how much you love Dan Stevens, so I'm not gonna contradict in any way, but I'm gonna say I think Leland Orser is the most handsome man in this film.
wow, wowzeroo.
I love him. I think he's fucking great. He's another one of those facial, vocal character actors that we love over here at Final Transmission. And, you know, budget Bradley Cooper can lick a dick, as far as I'm concerned, next to Leland Orser. Holy donkey balls, is he good in this?
Budget Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I would accept
Croydon's Bradley Cooper.
I would accept budget Chris Evans. I would accept.
He's fucking sorry, Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
Get to fuck.
I would accept Ryan Gosling, but I don't see fucking.
He's Bradley Cooper from the nose down.
No, he's not.
I mean,
Bradley Cooper couldn't be that lean when.
no, because he's a fucking ox. He's a stud.
Yeah, but when Dan Stevens comes out of that shower,
Inappropriate, but yeah.
I saw this in a cinema, in a packed cinema.
Wow. Okay.
And there were women in that cinema, and they slithered home like.
Right. Just I'm out.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Slip and slide. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to fucking take anything away from a man who is obviously objectively gorgeous, but he's perfect in this role because he's so fucking generic. Do you know what I mean? He's Captain America in this,
So
which is fine.
I mean, I agree that like he's gorgeous to the point where an algorithm could have made him.
Yes, he's AI.
But what I think special about Dan Stevens is there is enough personality in there that he picks cool roles. Like he's not out there doing fucking whatever. Like he's in
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, he's in The Guest. He's in Cuckoo. He was in the Legion show that the guy that made Fargo made, which is based on like X-Men property, where he was like crazy and it was insane and it was great and I loved it. He's like the antagonist in that Will Ferrell Eurovision movie. Like he's out there doing weird shit. He's like a weird guy.
And he's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous guys don't do weird shit.
If I was gorgeous in the way that Dan Stevens is, I know that I'm fucking objectively very, very attractive. But if I was gorgeous
I'm glad you said that because I was going to jump in hard there. You are gorgeous.
I knew you were going to jump in, so I jumped the gun. But if I was gorgeous like Dan Stevens is gorgeous, but like I still had my brain, I'd be unstoppable. But
no, you wouldn't. You'd just be laying at home, jacking off in the mirror all day, every day. You would not be unstoppable. You'd be the opposite of unstoppable.
Yeah,
You'd be completely stoppable.
And I was an actor. Like, I'd be out there doing the weirdest things possible because, like, there aren't enough, like, gorgeous, weird leading men. Like, we just don't have, especially, like, in the sort of early 2010s to now time frame. All of our leading men in like low to mid budget stuff like this, they're all looking to get out. They're all stepping stones.
2014 is a crazy time to be this hot and doing weird shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was a time of even less wiggle room for, you know, hot dudes to be doing weird shit. And this the same with, you know, women, same with everyone in Hollywood. You couldn't step out of line. You were given your fucking role depending on how hot you were, and that was it.
Yeah.
And much respect to this guy for doing batshit stuff. I think, to be honest, I have to go out there and say I think Brad Pitt is kind of an example of somebody who is just out of this fucking world hot, but still did a whole bunch of weird crap.
Yeah, he
you know, Johnny
did.
Depp too, obviously, but like Brad Pitt's different because he's like physically an absolute fucking chiseled out of oak specimen. Like Brad Pitt doesn't have any fucking reason to do Fight Club, really, does he?
No, I mean, I read something quite recently where Fight Club showed at Cannes or whatever. It got like boos.
Whoa.
And Brad Pitt turned to Edward Norton, maybe it was not even him, maybe it was someone else, and was like, this is the best movie that I'll ever be in.
Yeah, and while it's being booed.
Yeah.
The problem is he's not technically right for that movie, is he? Because he's always talking about how like self-improvement is masturbation and the you know the male perfection thing is nonsense, and he is fucking perfect. Like,
But that's because spoilers for Fight Club, guys. But that's because he's not real. The person that's saying
Yeah.
self-improvement is masturbation is a fantasy part of another guy's brain that doesn't look anything like that. I mean,
yeah,
if
but
you see Edward Norton without his shirt on, he doesn't look like me. But like, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
bet he's
Well,
got
no,
muscles.
I don't know what you mean. What?
There are
I know what you mean when you say Edward Norton doesn't look like you, but that's as far as I go.
like he doesn't have he. I bet he's still got muscles under there. Just like we're conditioned to only see muscles as insane. Like when they put fucking Schwarzenegger in a suit jacket, try and make out that he's a fucking car salesman or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that girl in that fucking movie where they're like, she's fat. Nope.
Oh yeah.
In
What?
not Lawnmower. I always think it's Lawnmower Man because she dies by lawnmower. Frankenhooker.
There you go. Anyway, we're not talking about the guest, and we should be.
Yeah, we should get back to Dan Stevens, who he's your Brad Pitt.
I just love that he's a weird little guy being in movies. Do you know, like when you were in high school? I mean, do you know, like when you were in high school and you wished that you had a really cool friend that was just as weird as you, but like somehow,
Super hot.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I kind of had that, strangely. I had a couple of super hot weirdo friends.
yeah. I think I was the super hot weirdo friend. No, I wasn't.
Yeah, and it was you. You were my super hot weirdo friend. I wish. I wish we went to school together in rural Wales. We could just be Welsh guys together.
Yeah. I love that the movie doesn't really waste any good time pretending that he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fucking masterclass in unease in that regard because it doesn't build him up on a pedestal, doesn't give you some bullshit montage of him at war saving a bunch of fucking kids or whatever. It just makes you think, we're being told he's great and he's real and he's legit, but there's lots of things around the edge that are making me suspicious, and not in a cheese dick way, in a pretty artful way. I think for the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, there's that first scene, and you think, okay, he's a nice guy. His accent, flawless, by the way.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what a performance. Like, regardless of how hot you are, fucking knocks it out of the park. Not even a single... There's only one, and I am hypercritical of this shit. One thing. He says Craig instead of Craig, and that's fucking it. For the whole movie, that's impressive.
But yeah, in the opening scene, we don't see anything about him that's sort of worrying. He's in the photo, all that stuff. But every time he's left alone, he just becomes a different person.
Yeah.
Like facially.
The running scene is unnerving, and that's really early.
I think that's like the opening shot, isn't it? Of just him running.
Yeah, breathing really heavily, running really hard for no real reason. That's a really good establishing shot for a guy who, you know, it's kind of semi-revealed to you later is quote-unquote a Marine. So you're like, oh, he's a Marine, that's why he's running. But then, more comes to the fore.
It does. I love also that everyone is just lying to themselves in order to make themselves feel better.
There's a lot of good grief work in that, isn't there? The family is so fucking addled by grief, but so buttoned up.
Yeah, and they're all dealing with it in very different ways. I love that, like, the dad is, like, Leland Orser's character, the dad is an alcoholic, and no one mentions it or cares or notices, but he's always either drinking or on the way to get a drink. Like,
yeah, and I think that's really cleverly done. It's a bit of a... There's something semi-theatrical about that. It made me think of Death of a Salesman. It's a kind of denial that is totally unaddressed. Like, he's boozing hard all the time and nobody fucking says a word. And that's a great... You know, for us as viewers, that's a great family dynamic to really sort of wheedle under your skin and make you feel deeply uncomfortable. And it never really comes to anything serious, but it's constant simmering tension. Like, oh, this guy's a booze hound.
yeah, it's just like, this is the way that he deals with, you know, his dead son or his shit life or his boring wife or whatever. Like,
oh, easy on the boring wife.
well,
Holy cow.
she's quite closed off because of grief. And so that's probably a challenge for him. Obviously, it's a challenge for her. But Anna, the daughter, feels pretty shut out by both of them. Like, and then there's also, obviously, we've not talked about Luke, the brother.
Little Brendan Meyer.
Low-key, he's great. I think he's really fun.
Fucking absolute showstopper. Like, how old is he supposed to be in this, do you think? 16? 15, 16?
Yeah, something like that.
Superb. I think...
It's insane because like he looks like an actual teenager. He doesn't look like a 25-year-old.
Yep. Teenager with teenage hair and teenage behavior. Nailed it. Like, I know I said it at the top, there's nobody in this movie who lets anything down. Like, nobody lets anything slide as far as I'm concerned. But we'll get to Micah Monroe. I think she's an absolute fucking movie stealer of a fucking teenage girl in this. But I think Brendan Meyer has a really compelling performance because it makes you want more of him. You want more of his, not just his life and his unique psychology and his situation, but you want more of his almost inner monologue. Like, I want to spend more time with him. I think he's a really cleverly drawn teen boy character in this. Is this Texas? Where the fuck are we?
It's shot in New Mexico.
Interesting. Do you think it's... Because I was trying to get a look at the cop cars to see if I knew where it was based on that. And New Mexico cop cars are more of like a cream, like almost like a cream gray kind of color, I think.
Right. Yeah, well, I don't know, but I know that it's shot there. But it's never named. But like, they're not especially Southern. It's only Dan Stevens who's Southern.
Yeah.
Apart from on that one scene when he's on the phone, when he drops the Southern accent.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, I thought.
Really interesting, yeah. Clever.
But yeah, Brendan Mayer's great. I think between him and Micah Monroe, like they are the linchpin of like a lot of the interesting stuff that happens in the movie. Obviously, Dan Stevens has the most screen time, the biggest opportunity to give us a good performance, and they have to like fill in those cracks.
Yeah.
But they do it wonderfully, I think. This is the second appearance of Joel David Moore on the pod. Your friend of mine.
Fill me in.
He was in Hatchet.
Holy shit, he was. Of course he was. And he's fucking great in this. Short-lived. No spoilers.
I mean, we're in spoilers. He gets shot in the fucking head.
Yeah, he really does. And he's great. We love this guy.
Yeah, he has a couple of great scenes. He has that amazing scene where he gets shot with fucking Nick Papagiorgio from Yuma. What's his name?
Alex Knight? No.
Ethan Embry. Ethan
Embry.
Yeah, he's Nick Papagiorgio from Yuma in
Okay.
National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation.
Oh, God, what? Listen, not to fucking derail the fucking guest train here, but we both like Vegas Vacation, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's probably my favorite one.
In an absurd minority. Is it your favorite?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God. Why?
I think it's the one that I had on video when I was a kid. So
I didn't see it till about 3 years ago. And I fucking love it.
Every time I get cash out of the cash machine, I make the face that Chevy Chase makes when he's getting all that cash out of the cash machine. Like, I think about the guy that sells Rusty Griswold the fake ID by having a big board that he sticks his head through. Like,
so good.
But yeah, so the guy that is the gun runner in this,
yeah,
that's Rusty Griswold.
Oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's incredible. This movie has Rusty Grizz in it. What? Jesus, we're heading for a 10 out of 10 here. Not happy.
Yeah. As an audience, your mileage on Rusty Griswolds may vary. Maybe you like Anthony Michael Hall. Maybe you like fucking Johnny Galecki. Like, who cares? Ethan Embry is my Rusty Griswold.
Wow. I mean, you've taken fandom of Vegas Griswolds to the next fucking level. I gotta watch that again. It's so good.
It's so good. The scene when like they're in the shit casino with Randy Quaid and like you've got to pick a number. That's the game. Just pick a number. If he picks a higher number, then you lose.
I love Beverly D'Angelo in ways that just shouldn't be on a podcast, and you really get into the Bev in that movie, right?
Yeah. Anyway, the guest.
God, you're insistent on sticking with the guest, aren't you, tonight?
Yeah. So, one of the things that Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett have said about this movie, and like their mood board, sort of when they were making it, was the Terminator meets Halloween.
Yeah, 100%.
Fucking nails it, doesn't it? Like,
God, yes.
Not only like is the Halloween aesthetic what we were desperately missing in fucking Silver Bullet last week.
Sure.
A movie that was set on Halloween thanks to one line of dialogue and nothing else.
0 jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah. This has so many jack-o'-lanterns,
Mm.
including the silver shamrock masks.
Yeah, and a giant jack-o'-lantern to enter the fucking Halloween fuckboy maze.
That maze, I wish my school did anything ever. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
wish my school fill in the blank. Jesus Christ, I wish my school gave me an education, bare minimum. Everything else, bonus. Can you imagine your school having a dance that was that hardcore Halloween?
My school, all of our school discos were DJ'd by a supply teacher called Mr. Barnfather. And he would,
What? Mr. Barnfather?
yeah, and he would put a baseball cap on but wear it sideways and call himself DJ Barnfather. But he would also, like, basically after he played the records, because he would DJ with records, he was,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how old he was, but when I was 11, he was the oldest man I'd ever seen in my life. But, like, he would sell you the records. So I bought Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby on, like, 7-inch single from him at a school disco. That's a story. Moving on.
How old were you at this point?
I was 11, I think.
You remember Barnfather?
How do you forget DJ Barnfather?
It's a very good question. I will never forget DJ Barnfather. I mean, anyway, great school dance. And if your detention is fucking with that shit, wow, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
That was not my detention when I was at school.
No. I never got after school detention.
What? Never?
Never. I think maybe the teachers couldn't be asked.
After school detention, in fairness, didn't actually exist at the school I was at.
There you go. So, what are you talking
I
about?
remember my first lunchtime detention. I had no idea what was happening. Imagine, like, you're sort of pre-detention mentally. You don't know what it is. You've never been there, so you don't know how it works. And the guy that I was sat next to, I said, like, hey, what the fuck is happening? How does detention work? And he said, just do what I do. And I was like, okay, Scott Gilder, I'll do exactly what you do. And he drew a pair of pants in his notebook. So I was like, cool, guess I'll draw a pair of pants. And the teacher came around and was like, why the fuck are you boys drawing pairs of pants? You're supposed to be writing the shit that's on the board. And on the board it said, like, I promise I will never climb on the wall again or whatever. And I was like, I was just following Scott Gilder and drawing the pants. I thought detention was drawing pants. It wasn't. You're not supposed to do that.
No. So I'd seen The Breakfast Club. I think I was maybe 10 when I saw The Breakfast Club.
Wow. Half the age that I was when I saw it.
So I had a lot of ideas about what detention was.
Mess with the ball.
And when I got detention, it was nothing like that.
You didn't get laid. You didn't smoke weed.
No, I had no epiphanies.
Your life was not defined by the things you wrote in your... No.
I messed with the ball, but I didn't get the horns.
No, you got no horns whatsoever. At least you didn't draw pants and get another day of detention.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, this film came out 3 years after Captain America, right?
Wow. Yep. Okay.
So obviously, we haven't sort of spoiled the ending yet, which I'm about to do right now.
Yep.
The Dan Stevens, quote unquote, David, is a super soldier that has been bred by the government to be really fucking good at being a soldier or whatever. And
wait, is that what Captain America is?
yeah.
I don't know what the movie... I don't know. Captain America, sorry.
Captain America was like a weedy little soldier that joined the army and then was put through this super soldier program where he was injected with super soldier serum that made him super duper.
Mm.
But you know, he was an idealistic kid from the Bronx or whatever. I don't know where he's from. Brooklyn, maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere in New York. David, or whatever this character's name ends up being, because we don't know it.
True.
Turns out he was a psycho. So when they put him through the super soldier training, they broke his brain and he went batshit crazy.
That wasn't my read.
I mean, that's the movie, but go on. What's your read?
Well, no, it's Kirsten says, you know, but he's a psycho. But Lance Reddick's character, Major Carver, says he was the perfect soldier. So I think the deal there is that, like, the perfect soldiers make the perfect psychos.
I think like he's the perfect soldier at war, but he he's a psycho at home. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, but he's not at home, is he? He's still doing it. He's still fulfilling his mission brief.
the one thing I don't really understand about this movie is why he's there.
Don't you dare. How dare you? Yeah, true. But
Because the
what I
implication
love
is
about the
that-
movie is you get no insight into his psyche whatsoever, so it doesn't become a question.
Yeah, but like obviously he says that he's there at the beginning because Caleb, the son of the family that died,
Yeah,
he asked him to go and check up on them.
yeah.
But like
Bullshit.
it comes out that he didn't really know him. Like they weren't friends. So why is he there? Why does he feel like he has to protect them? Why does he feel like he has to try and make their lives better by, why he feels like he has to poison their newly promoted colleagues? Like that's the one thing that doesn't make any sense is just why he's doing any of this.
I thought there was like a shred of, like a almost like a trunk of humanity left in him that wanted to do the right thing and wanted to protect. I mean, where the fuck else is he going to go? Do you know what I mean? He's like a super soldier, bred to kill and bred to defend and bred to fuck by the look of things. And he goes to this place to protect these people and do them good, and ultimately is discovered to his identity is compromised, and then he goes nuts.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of going nuts before his identity is compromised.
He starts way off the fucking reservation, right?
Yeah.
He's not like, I could really help these people by getting a job at the diner and making some money for them. No, he's just like, I could help these people by killing everyone that makes their lives difficult.
He goes and gets all those guns off Craig and Ethan Embry's character, right?
Yeah.
But like, why does he do that? And like, he says in the movie, "I'm a soldier. Soldiers like guns." But like, that's not really an explanation.
I mean, he's pumped when he sees those grenades. He's thinking outside the box. He's like, wow, I thought I was going to get a few guns. Now I get grenades. Now I can blow up a diner. Yes.
I also love that, like, so many times in fucking movies we see like arms dealers or gun sellers or whatever, like bringing loaded weapons.
Yeah.
And so all of these weapons are empty, apart from like the gun that he has on him that only has one bullet in it. It's like this guy did it right. He did the right thing, but he still got shot in the head.
Yeah, still got absolutely fucking blapped in a quarry. Which
Well,
I think
only
is
blapped because there's
great.
one bullet.
Yeah, just one blap. Love that whole scene. Love the sort of subtle subversion of the arms deal thing where he's like, oh, this is a Glock 9, you got a fucking bear. And, the whole vibe of that scene felt more edgy than your classic selling a guy guns in a pseudo horror movie scene to me. It just felt fluid and I don't know, it just worked. There's something about how they put those characters across that didn't make you think they were going to die immediately, which is normally the thing.
I mean, it's funny because he just says like, "I'm going to shoot you and take all the guns."
Very Terminator.
This movie, like we've not said it, but it's pretty fucking funny, right?
It's irresistibly fun, for sure. If you're not laughing at something, you're enjoying the sense of fun that's kind of woven into the tension in certain points. Like, it just has this great balance. There's a bit of a fucking magical alchemy here where you really give a shit about the characters. Like, I really cared about this family. And I actually really cared about kind of everyone. I didn't want Lance Reddick to die. Who the fuck ever wants Lance Reddick to die? I didn't want Dan Stevens to be a bad guy. I wanted everyone in this to kind of slot neatly into a role that I had in my head would be, perfect happy ending material, but nobody did what I thought they would do. It wasn't predictable, really. But when it got to the point where it was total cheese dick American action movie stuff, that's when it really became 10 times more fun, which is totally counterintuitive. You think it's going to go completely off the boil and just be like predictable, boring American action movie bullshit, but it just, shot the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. So this is the second Adam Wingard movie that we've covered.
Is it?
Yeah, so the first one we covered was You're Next, which you didn't love.
That was fine. Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of crossover in this. There are a lot of people that are in You're Next pop up in this.
Yep.
The masks that they wear, they pop up at the party.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Good little nod.
I mean, I like You're Next a lot. Go back and listen to that episode and you'll see how much I liked it. I think you gave it a positive review, but you didn't love it. But I think this is my favourite Adam Wingard movie.
Definitely my favourite. 100%. Your Next it's just a bit too forgettable to be fucking fantastic. Whereas this doesn't get anywhere near forgettable for me. I'm not going to forget this movie in a hurry, for sure.
Yeah,
And
I think they scratch a similar itch,
yeah.
but this one, leaves a bit more of a mark. Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Oh, hello. Who's a copywriter? Who? Raise your hand if you write copy. Blair Witch, Adam Wingard, right?
Yeah.
Love that shit. This, I think, maybe I enjoyed. Ooh, fuck me. I think I enjoyed this more.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's honed his craft a bit more by the time he gets to Blair Witch. I think 2016. He's knuckles deep in what he wants to do and who he wants to be, and he's got a property that is, fucking world famous and super fragile. And I think he fucking does some great stuff with it. But Your Next is 2011. It's way before either of these movies, and
Yeah, I think this is
he sharpens up.
I think this is the sweet spot because I like Blair Witch, but I think the reason that Blair Witch is good is because it's doing the thing that we've all been yelling at the screen when we were watching Book of Shadows, which is, this is the story. We're going into the place to find the people that went missing rather than the other thing.
Whatever this is.
Yeah, rather than, weird tours that we're doing in Book of Shadows, which, I liked a hell of a lot more than you, but
I don't know, but it's grown on me. I thought about it a lot in the last year or however long it's been. And Book of Shadows, not going to say it sucks. So check out our episode on Book of Shadows, recorded 300 years ago.
yeah. I think his Blair Witch movie, while it is good, I think he's making a lot of quite safe choices.
I mean, maybe.
But
I think he kind of has to. Do you know what I mean? After the fucking pure chaos of Book of Shadows, they said, right, we tried insanity. We tried no rules. Now we need rules control the fun. We need that now.
Yeah. Well, but like I say, I think The Guest, really crystallizes what I think he's good at.
Yeah.
And obviously Simon Barrett, they're almost like a twofer. They come together.
Right.
Worked on a bunch of stuff together, a bunch of things for the VHS movies, Blair Witch, this, Your Next, a bunch of other stuff. So they're a package deal. And I think I talked about when we did Dog Soldiers a few weeks ago, I talked about how much I love Doomsday, which is basically a fusion of 3 different movies, sort of Frankenstein together to make it into one movie. And this is kind of a similar thing, but instead of Frankensteining them together, it's more like The Fly. It's like Terminator and Halloween got into the fly machine, and this is what comes out the other end. Yeah.
And in that fly machine, your expectations of what's coming out change completely. It's not going to be as good as Terminator or The Fly, but it's going to be fucking fun.
And I think it's so much fun. And there's so many cool little moments that I think are so funny and so fun and so lovely to me. The bit where he's bring a knife to school.
Yeah.
If they take the knife off you, burn down their houses with their parents inside.
Yeah, kill their families.
And this kid's cool.
Okay. It's great. It builds the menace of him that he has so much influence, and he's so charismatic, and he's so, I don't know, just persuasive in that way. It doesn't feel ridiculous. It feels funny and clever and kind of edgy, and that's just fucking character-led cinema working well.
I'll tell you my favorite line or my favorite exchange. This kid called me a faggot, so I broke a yardstick on his face.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, how cool do we think Dan Stevens is in that principal's office, just fucking ripping ass and getting that kid out of being expelled with a fucking dropping the hate crime bomb. Love it.
So I think this is the thing that I think is really interesting about this movie, because I think ultimately the movie is about how the military or military service, how it fucks up and destroys the lives of everybody that it touches.
Right.
I don't know if I believe that, or if you believe that, or if anyone believes that, but that's what this movie is about, right? Everybody in this movie is somehow damaged by their proximity to the military.
Yeah.
And the movie sort of oscillates between Dan Stevens being the coolest motherfucker that ever walked the earth and Dan Stevens being the scariest motherfucker that ever walked the earth. So there are moments when you're looking at him and he's like a golden god stood on the top of a mountain, doing the coolest shit. And then there are moments when he is staring out of a window while the music from Psycho plays. Do you know what I mean? It's like this guy is fucked in the head. And obviously, we're allowed to think that sometimes the military isn't necessarily the worst thing that's ever happened to us. Like, soldiers can be cool. Like, they got Bin Laden or whatever, right? But
Wow. Yeah.
but also
Please carry on.
all of that Benghazi shit happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, wowie. Yeah.
so
Swings and roundabouts, bud. You got
Yeah.
Bin Laden, you got the My Lai massacre, and in betwixt, who knows?
exactly. I think that's what the movie is trying to say. Whiplashing us between like, this is the coolest thing anyone's ever done, the coolest anyone's ever looked, the most incredible anyone's ever acted, versus like, this is crazy shit. He's killing people. He shot a teacher in the head just for being around.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I love that when he shoots her little mate in the diner, like nobody says anything or does anything or even like barely even look up from their meal, which makes me think a little bit of like American Psycho. I know that we're not in American Psycho here, but like,
Yeah.
I think there is some connective tissue between the character of David and the way that Patrick Bateman sees himself.
Possibly. All it made me think was, this isn't Texas. Because 6 people would have pulled out guns.
Yeah.
Like, those are really interesting points. And I hadn't thought about it deeply enough on a military commentary type level to really come to those conclusions. But the whole time I was thinking the Bourne Identity was in 2000, what was it, 2002? And
Something
this
like that, yeah.
is, over a decade later. So we're not doing anything. I'm not saying the Bourne Identity was the first fucking super soldier program by the government movie, but it was the first blockbuster of its kind, And
I would say the Manchurian Candidate is.
yeah, he's not a soldier, is he? He's
He
like
is
a
in the-
bum-sucking politician or something.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Point being, yeah, I hadn't gone that deep. What I like about this is it doesn't ask you to go that deep. There's just none of that crap that diverts you from the fact this is essentially a romp. It's like an action romp. And the second Lance Reddick shows his face, by the way, huge shout out and tribute to Lance Reddick because, spoiler alert, he's dead.
Is that a spoiler? Spoiler for his life?
Listen, the guy played the same guy in every movie and did the same shit with his face and the same shit with his body and was absolutely flawless in everything he ever did. That's a career achievement. And in this, he walks in, you're like, the entire movie just changed. It became a different film.
In Bosch, he was not a different character, but
No, I was going to just
he-
disagree hard.
he had a different job. But
Exactly. He doesn't need. All he has is different jobs and slightly different outfits. He's the same fucking guy. Crease the brow, lift the eyebrow, lower your head, look dead ahead, and say the same shit the same way every movie. And also, fucking smoke it every time.
yeah, I mean, if you need that character, who else are you going to ring?
Lance fucking Reddick. If you have a career in Hollywood and in TV and everything in general where you are so fucking reliable as a character actor, you can do the same thing every time and you can be pitch perfect every time, I think that puts you in the like journeyman workhorse actor category that kind of makes you great in a way.
And I also think like he does do things that are different, but they're very subtle. Like the character in this, and let's say the character that he plays in Bosch,
Yeah.
it's obviously the same guy with the same voice and the same face, making the same expressions. But like, he's fun in Bosch. He's like friendly. There's like a warmth to him, which you don't get here at all.
No, he's got bags more screen time in that and pretty big responsibility in terms of his role and budget and probably pay and all that kind of bullshit. But he's given a lot more room to flesh out the character and do a bit more feels.
Yeah,
But in this,
exactly.
oh my God, does he just get the job done?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Atkins' performance, just in, out, no fat.
Yep,
Like,
top tier. Yep.
yeah.
What's your favorite death in The Guest?
I mean, I like it when Ethan Embry gets shot in the face. That's really satisfying to me.
Yeah.
But I think it's got to be Leland Orser because he's just so clueless about what's going on.
Yeah.
And like the idea of like trying to kill someone by just driving head on into them.
Yeah. Seriously fucking some Jaws action there. I love the way he dies in this.
Yeah.
Again, facial acting, but my goodness, he's got like 1.2 seconds to die, and he nails it.
Him and Sheila, what's a cock? Like, they both managed to convey the fear and confusion and the realization all at the same time, and I think that's what makes this film really work, is like those moments. And also obviously Micah Monroe, I love like a Chicken Little story. Like, I love the idea that one person knows the truth and they're trying to get other people to believe them, but they're too blind.
Is everyone else going to know what a Chicken Little story is? Because I'm sorry to report that I don't.
You're not familiar with Chicken Little?
I'm afraid not.
So Chicken Little is like a fucking bedtime story type story. It's about a chicken that an acorn falls out of a tree and hits them on the head, and it's so.
Is this Stuart Little? Is this the same thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Chicken Little is a chicken.
Just Little Women. What are you talking about?
You know the movie Take
Chicken
Shelter?
Little.
No, the movie Take Shelter.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that movie.
So that's a Chicken Little movie, right?
Tell me more.
Chicken Little thinks that the sky is falling and is trying to get all of his friends to protect themselves from the coming apocalypse.
Because he gets bonked by an acorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's out there, trying to make everyone believe or understand that the sky is falling. Literally, like Take Shelter.
Right.
And I think this is a Chicken Little story. Micah Monroe is the only one that knows the truth. Okay. The sky maybe wasn't falling in Chicken Little.
Dude, what happens at the end of Chicken Little? Don't leave me hanging to talk about the guest, which I've seen.
You have to wait until we do the Chicken Little.
For fuck's sake.
But yeah, no, I love that it's a Chicken Little story. I love
Me too. Love a Chicken Little story. God, the ending of that movie had me in tears. Can we talk just very briefly? I don't want to take us too far off the tangent here, but Micah Monroe.
Yes.
What was your first encounter of her in a, let's say movie, not TV, in a movie context?
So it's a little film from 2014 called The Guest.
Really? Okay, that was your first.
Yeah, absolutely. I had never seen her in anything before this.
Right. So I've done the classic, probably what loads of people have done, and seen her in Long Legs and thought, wow, you're the only thing good about this movie. And then watched this and thought, holy fucking shit, did you take the completely bang average writing of a, teenage girl character in a movie and just shoot it into the fucking stratosphere. I thought she was incredible in this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the writing is average. I think the writing is quite clever, but I do think that she's bringing a lot to that.
Right.
I always kind of thought, because I'd only really seen her in like this and It Follows and a couple of other things, that like as an actor, she is perfect. I always thought she was perfectly fine. But I've since seeing Long Legs and thinking about the interesting choices that she's made in that, and the obvious process that she's gone through to get to that character in Long Legs that I didn't particularly like very much.
Same.
But like reverse engineering that back and looking at movies that she was in before, I can see now like different choices that I think she's making that aren't necessarily part of the source material.
That's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
To look at someone on their, I guess, like journey as an actor and their career and be able to kind of reverse engineer a little bit and think, wow, it's really interesting to think about what you were doing in this role based on what I saw you do in a later role where you maybe had a bit more clout or, a bit more agency to be like, nah, I'm going to do this. And again, it comes back to kind of what she does with her face a lot in this movie, but she's so sassy and so full of angst and attitude early on that you're led down this like, okay, dismissible teenage girl, kind of, you're a caricature or whatever. And then about 10 minutes later, you're like, holy fuck, you're actually the leading lady of this movie. Like you're running the fucking show. And she takes us to places that, are maybe a little bit bland in other movies with similar roles. It's kind of an archetypical role, but
Well, yeah, she's a
just
final
a
girl,
great
right?
performance. Yeah, exactly. 100% final girl, but just a whole bunch of extra shit happening there that's totally believable, totally buyable, and fleshy and detailed and fun.
Yeah, and I think that the music helps quite a lot as well.
It's the only thing
Like,
I didn't love.
well, I think like it makes sense for her character to like the music that she likes, and then that I think informs the soundtrack for the rest of the movie. Which we're kind of doing a bit of a Drive thing. We're kind of doing like obviously Drive is already out at this point, and I think
Mm.
this is on purpose. We're trying to put you in the Drive mindset. Dan Stevens doesn't not look like Ryan Gosling. There's a similar mood and a similar vibe at play, and I love that like a lot of that music is diegetic and is in the scene.
Mm.
And like all the stuff with the mix CD, I think is really fun. I really
Yeah,
enjoy
love that.
that. Especially like in the scene where he comes into her room and he's like threatening her without saying the words, and then
Yep.
like sees the CD and his demeanor entirely changes.
Yeah. Such a manipulative guy in the movie. Like so much great performance choice for, when I'm going to be your best friend, when I'm going to be your worst enemy, shifting gear on a sixpence, as they say. Really good. And I love, so music wise, I really like when it's gothic synth, when it's very, when it feels authentically 80s. I think when it goes to that place that's very, like you said, reminiscent of Drive or tipping a hat to Drive or Stranger Things or whatever the fuck. Like it's a little bit cheese dong.
It's John Carpenter is what
pre-
they're trying to do, isn't it? But like,
I don't know. Are they really?
Yeah,
Again,
I
I
think so.
guess. Yeah, it's too poppy for me to be harp.
yeah, well,
fishing.
I think they're like it's meant to be Carp-esque, but like the sort of music that this girl would listen to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it does feel thought out, and it does feel like a deliberate choice. And I don't think I can say I didn't like it. I just think it wasn't. I didn't love it. It was just there were moments where I was like, yeah, not quite on the money, but for the vast majority of it, I'm not noticing it as being bad. I think it's there and it's doing a job and it's chugging us along. There was a strange choice to have him looking really intense and really dark and broody at one point into the camera almost with a slow pan forwards and hyper poppy music over the top, which felt like a shot at a vibe and just didn't quite land for me. But for the vast majority of it, I liked what they were doing with the music.
A thing that we talked about again on our Dog Soldiers episode
Mhm.
is the idea of like referencing and homaging things, and how when you do that poorly or annoyingly or
Yeah.
that it stops the movie. And I think this movie is a great example of how you can do that without stopping the movie, without pulling anybody out of the moment.
At what point?
Well, I think there are loads of references. There's obviously, like I say, the Your Next masks at the Halloween party. There's a bunch of like general Halloween stuff. There's a bunch of specific John Carpenter's Halloween stuff. There's Halloween 3 stuff. There's the washing line shot.
Yeah. And in
From-
a high tension action moment as well.
Yeah, like
It's it, right?
yeah, it's it. It's also
It's
you know,
Halloween.
Halloween. Like
Yeah.
what we're doing is exactly what we said is the right way to do it in the Dog Soldiers episode, which is you take those moments, you internalize them, and you regurgitate them without being like, "Hello, my name is Bruce Campbell, and I am a soldier," or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And this movie does it in such a way that on first watch, if you're just hanging out watching a movie for the fun of it, you just won't even notice that shit.
Yeah.
You'll feel that familiar tingle of ominous, creepy fun when you get the washing line with the billowing white laundry. And you won't be like, oh, he's doing it. You'll just be like, fuck, it's Lance Reddick and the guy and they're shooting guns. And later you might be like, okay, that felt a little bit Carpenter-esque. And that's the right way to do it. If you're going to tribute and you're going to tip your hat and you're going to pay homage to shit that you love, don't do it in a way that stops everyone on stage, turns to face the audience, tells them what's about to happen, and everyone laughs at the same time. That shit is fucking weak ass piss. And this is done well. It's got strength to it. It's got authority and it's done with confidence. And that's a whole fucking different planet to that other bullshit.
What do you think happens at the penultimate scene, with the sort of the takedown of David's scene?
What do you mean like the fact that he doesn't die?
I watched that scene, and I feel like the first time I watched this movie, or maybe not the first time because I was just so into it, but maybe the second time I watched this movie, first time I watched it at home by myself, and I watched that scene and I was like, is he being bad? Is this a bad performance? And then I sort of realized that maybe, is he hamming it up so they think that he's really dying?
Mm.
And then I noticed that he's in a fake graveyard. So like fake graveyard, fake death.
Yep.
Like,
I thought the same thing. I thought all of this feels fucking CSI Miami right now. And this is not a movie that is willing and deliberately sinking to CSI Miami levels. And I really think he's this is what I love about the depth of the character. I think he's playing up to his death scene for the sake of the kids. The kids are young. They're very impressionable. He's manipulated them to the fucking ends of the earth at this point. And I think he's breaking his programming. He doesn't want to kill them really, or he just fucking would have. He could have killed these kids. He killed everyone else.
yeah.
So I think he gives them a bit of a kind of playground kill scene where, yeah, he hams it up. It's like when I used to play the gun game on the wall, fans, if you listen to our earlier episodes, and he takes the shots and he maybe even, are we going to go as far as say, moves his body in a way where he takes bullets in the shoulder and then fucking goes down. And the only problem for me is that he does quite legitimately get stabbed in the heart, which is quite difficult to survive. But if you're going to give mileage to his whole, military training, etc., then there's the scope to say maybe he has a superhuman soldier heart, and maybe
Exactly.
he just survives because
He's got, healing ability or something.
yeah, or like maybe you can get stabbed in the heart and survive. Who knows? We're not authorities on such things, but I really think he is playing the I'm dying shit, and it when you look back at it, it's kind of telegraphed by the fact that, yeah, he's in a fake graveyard, in a fake fucking Halloween scene, in a fake fucking school, in a fake society full of fake ass bitches, and then he walks out of there in a fucking fake fireman outfit. Bam.
And like, he could kill them right then as well. Like, he could just carry on.
There's
But he just
1,000 moments he could kill them in 1,000 ways, and he doesn't. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, so like, obviously Luke is like the only one that really, he's like, I know that you're a murderer and you killed all those people, but I don't care. I think you're a cool guy.
You're a cool guy, and I need friends.
Yeah, and I think like, obviously nobody has ever taken the time to talk to Luke on his level. And you get that from the character. Like, it really works. The scene where they go to the bar, obviously, we talked about the bar scene in Near Dark, and obviously we also talked about the bar scene in Terminator when we talked about the bar scene in Near Dark. We're doing a Terminator thing here, right? And that's fun. It's also low-key a little bit that Near Dark bar scene as well. But if I was a dickhead, right, and somebody sent me a Cosmopolitan,
Oh, wow.
I would drink it.
If someone sent my girlfriend a blowjob shot and sent me a Cosmopolitan, I would think that is the funniest shit that has ever happened to me in a bar. I'd be high-fiving that guy all night.
I mean, I don't know what the prices are like in this bar at this time, right? But a blowjob shot, $3, right? A Cosmopolitan, $9. Like,
yeah, they're both a pain in the ass to make. You're going to have to tip, but it's not costing you fucking $20. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, it's...
Don't throw it in his face.
The girls got the raw deal. The guys get the good drink.
What is a blowjob shot?
I have no idea. But, like, no shot is nicer than a Cosmopolitan, right?
Cosmopolitans are delicious.
Literally.
Welcome to Final Transmission, where we endorse Cosmopolitans as a legitimate choice to drink at a fucking dive bar in New Mexico. I think you can do this, people. I think it's fine. Yeah. What a surprise. I Googled... I tried to Google blowjob shot. I got as far as the word blowjob, enter, and now I'm in trouble.
Are you streaming your screen to the TV downstairs?
Yeah, a blowjob shot is boring. It's mostly amaretto and cream. So if you're upset because someone sent you a shot of amaretto, get over it. I mean, the only problem I had with that bar scene is that he orders a fireball with Tabasco sauce, and that's a tough guy drink. That was no.
But he doesn't buy that to drink it. He buys
He
it because
buys it as a weapon,
he knows he's going to throw it in their face.
but he's also buying it as like a kind of tacit manipulation drink as well. It's got to be hard to drink so the kid thinks he's hard, and then it's got to be basically liquid pepper spray.
Yeah.
Which again, the only extension of disbelief that I was not willing to participate in. I don't think that would hurt in the eyes more than any other drink.
I mean,
Buy overproof rum. Do you know what I mean? Like buy something that's going to fucking blow the guy's fucking ears off.
but the Tabasco sauce would be spicy in the eyes, right? But I don't know. What's the drink? What is a fireball or whatever? Because is it like cinnamon schnapps and
You know what a fireball? You've had fireball.
I've had fireball whiskey, but that's
Fireball isn't. It's not really whiskey, is it?
well, no, but it calls itself whiskey. But
Does it?
the fireball that
He calls it a cinnamon schnapps.
is fireball cinnamon schnapps.
I would have thought so. It says fireball cinnamon whiskey. It's a
Yeah.
whiskey liqueur. A whiskey liqueur.
Well, that's what I thought.
Cinnamon styley. It looks like a fucking baby Bloody Mary. Anyway, that whole, all the drinks in that scene are a complete shower of shit. But you go along with it because it's in a movie and it's fine. I just, there's a whole thing in America that we should address here where fireball, cinnamon fire water, and like fucking fire, anything with fire in it, it's all different shit. It's not the same as here.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And then, wow, what a fucking callback. He becomes a fireman at the end, Jamie.
Wow, they are really playing 4D chess, aren't they? Have you ever had clamato?
Yeah, back in my not being a friend of the clam days, yeah, I tried some clamato.
You heard it here first. Sam Russo, not a friend of the clam.
Well, how dare you? I'm a friend of the clam till I die, okay? There was a dark period way back in the day where I considered it friendly to the clam to imbibe the clam. And now, no. I'm a friend of the clam. I would never harm a clam.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I love clamato.
Mm-hmm.
I've only recently discovered that Bloody Marys are good. So if you throw some clamato in there, I'm having a great time.
Have you ever had a Bud Light clamato beverage? There's like a fusion Bud Light clamato Bloody Mary thing in a can.
I don't think I have.
Have you ever had a Bud Light Limerita?
No, I'm not
Great.
a big margarita guy.
Yeah,
I'm a
but
meat
the
feast,
Bud Light
man.
clamato fucking shower of dong, whatever that is, pretty good.
I can believe it.
Yeah,
I can believe all of it's good. Drinks are good.
yeah, it's hard to find a bad drink.
Yeah, apart from fucking Fireball, right?
I love Fireball.
Do you really?
Yeah, I drink Fireball all night long. Do you remember that night in Budapest? Holy shit. We drank a lot of Fireball.
All right, Sam, why don't we take a break, come back, finish this off, get ourselves to bed because it's Friday night and it's getting late.
All I heard there was, why don't we finish ourselves off? And I think it's time.
Okay, perfect.
Will you give it up, man? Nobody's out there. We're alone. Oh no, there's somebody out there. I'm picking up all this crosstalk.
All right, I'm back. You back?
I'm back, Sam. We've already plugged our social media accounts on this episode, but if you missed it then, just make sure you pop along to Instagram and TikTok and follow at FT Horror Show, where you can hear Sam's special song that he wrote about the guest.
That is not fair. I did not write a special song about the guest. I had an intimate moment with you that you decided to share with the world.
Yes, well, that's fine. It's a song about the guest that happened to be an intimate moment. While your phone's in your hand, take that phone, go to wherever you're listening to this on, make sure you're subscribed, make sure your downloads are turned on, make sure you have liked, reviewed, 5 stars, done all that stuff, and then go off into the world and tell all of your little buddies in the bar, playing pool, underage,
Drinking Fireball.
drinking Fireball. Tell them about the Final Transmission podcast. Or we'll send super soldier Uncle Larry around to kill your family. And
He's a vet.
he's at one point, it looks like he might fuck him up, but he holds back.
It's the whole story to Uncle Larry now.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't drink shots because they fuck me up. So when somebody is forcing you to drink a shot, when there's absolutely no recourse, no way out, what do you ask for? If someone's like, what do you insist that they buy you? If it's you have to do it, gun to your head, you have to do a shot. Survival mode.
I don't want to do the shot.
You do not want to. In this scenario, you have a long night ahead of you, a lot of responsibilities the next day, but you are pressured into doing a shot.
The shot is limoncello.
Oh, wow.
It's 12%.
Yeah.
It's delicious lemon flavor.
Love that you know that off the top of your dome. It's exactly 12%.
Like, it's a very easy shot.
Yeah.
Do you remember like the horror stories about aftershock, like melting somebody's throat? That's not true, right? That's an urban legend.
Urban legend. Me and my friend Billy once stole 2 whole bottles of aftershock from a bar, and also stole that night an entire Indian meal from an Indian restaurant, and the combination of which would melt fucking bank vault hinges, and we fucking chugged it all, gobbled it all, and somehow did not melt into a pile of goo a la street trash. We survived, and we're here to tell the tale.
Sometimes you want an urban legend to be true.
Yeah, that one's not.
What a shame. All right, Sam.
Oh, what a shame.
My final thoughts on The Guest is a hoot and a half. How long is it?
1 hour 40.
Like, it feels like 35 minutes. It flies past at a clip. Like, it's just cleverly written, well acted, funny, action packed, silly, poignant. Like, it does everything. It's everything a movie should be. If you ever get the chance to see it in a cinema, which you probably won't, maybe, I mean, it's 10-year anniversary now. Maybe it'll somehow become really, really well known.
This
really,
podcast could launch its legacy.
I mean, it's pretty well known, but like, I want a cinema re-release, 20th anniversary, 4K remaster, fucking all that shit. The other review that I sent to you, obviously the bad review was this is diarrhea, poop shit out of an ass or whatever. And the other one was this is the movie that makes you say hell yeah. And this is a movie that makes you say hell yeah, right? This is a hell yeah movie.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with it. For a mid-budget, like...
Yeah, the budget is low as well. We haven't talked about that. This doesn't have the money behind it that makes it, the quality of the movie is not in any way fucking correlated to the amount of money they spent on it. It's so good for what they paid.
Yeah, it's value. Good value movie. And that's performances. Like, the action is shot in a way that makes it feel kinetic and good. Like, and that's clever on the budget. Like, there are some moments where they run from, like, slow-mo, where we sort of, like how they use slow-mo to show Quicksilver in the X-Men movies or whatever. Like, they make him look like he's running fast by slowing him down. Like, it's a weird thing. But like, when you put that next to normal speed in like a quick cut, it makes it feel so much more kinetic, and it's really exciting. And they do that a few times in a way that I think is really sells how skilled David is as a fighter. I love Dan Stevens. He's been in, like I said at the top, he's in loads of things where he's weird. He's a weird guy in Cuckoo. He's German in that. He has a German accent, which he also nails. Like, love Legion. We love, what's it called? Fucking the vampire ballerina movie that the name escapes me right now. Like, he's great. Everyone in this movie is great. It's basically a perfect movie.
Yikes.
So I cannot score it anything less than 15 polystyrene gravestones out of 15.
Oh, top marks.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
My dick doing laps. It's racing.
Doing laps.
Yeah.
Absolutely lapped you. Jamie's dick just lapped you.
It saw the little rabbit on the thing and it's gone off after it, chasing.
Christ alive. An actual greyhound of a dick rating this movie.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Scenes.
So go on, Sam. Lay yours upon me.
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh, good.
The Guest, I'm in a very similar place to you. I think if the biggest criticism I've got of a movie is that at one point the star says Craig instead of Craig, and at one point he jumps across a doorway in a cheesy way. If that's my biggest criticism, then the movie has to be absolutely smashing it. And I was really surprised to enjoy this as much as I did because it has the trappings of far lesser movies. It has all the pitfalls of a movie that could suck so much donkey anus, and it doesn't. It swerves, it bobs, it weaves, and it comes out crystal clear and beautiful and magical. And I think the way it does it is to fully embrace all the silliness of action movies, all the kind of tongue-in-cheek elements of thrillers that people who are hoity are too scared to kind of critique, and everything about horror that is ultimately terrifying but still underminable and, poke fun atable. And it wraps all that up in a, Sunday afternoon fucking romp fest. The performances are basically faultless. The music is good. Everything works. Everything clicks. There's absolutely no downtime. You're in it the whole fucking way. It's not fair to put it on Killer Clowns from Outer Space level, which is a 10 out of 10 movie, but I'm going to have to give it a fucking 9.1 naked guys getting out of the shower out of 10. It's really fun. It's really good. Super rewarding. It's good, hearty soul food for the horror fan who loves thrillers.
Perfect. Well, that's The Guest.
That's The Guest.
Do
you think it should have had a different name?
No,
I would have called it Friend of the Family.
Friend of the Family works. I like The Guest because I like that it feels ominous. We're in
True.
Pacific Heights, those sorts of thriller vibes. Also, it's in the Exorcist font and it's purple.
Yeah.
So
that Exorcist Stephen King font thing going on. It works as a package. But again, clever because you got like a Bradley Cooper guy who's clearly a soldier holding a gun with that writing over it. You don't know where you stand. You don't know who you are. You don't even know why you were born.
And I wish I wasn't. But
unfortunately, you were, and you had to watch The Guest.
If
there's an upside to everything.
Yeah, there's one saving grace to the fact that I was shat out into this hell existence, is that I got to watch The Guest.
High praise.